In Australian Road Rider issue 168, I've been testing the new Ducati Monster. And I'm kind of asking the question that, is there still a place for the Monster in the Ducati lineup? We've got lots of scramblers, we've got multistradas, we've got Panigales, there's a Hypermotard, there's Street Fighters. Is there still a place for the Monster? Check out the full test in issue 168, and I hope you enjoy this video as well. Ducati Monster 937. It's got the Testa Stretta 11-degree engine in it, but it's an updated version of that motor, and it makes pretty good power from about 4,000 RPM. Below 4,000, it's a little bit lumpy and it's not as nice to use, but I'm doing 4,500 revs now, and it's just really sweet. Lovely engine from there all the way to Redline at 10,000 RPM. So it's a sweet motor to have fun on and to ride in a sporty manner. I mean, this is not a Panigale. It doesn't have the price of a Panigale. It's way more comfortable than Panigale, but it's still a sort of a sporty naked bike. It's also very comfortable in the riding position. Again, you know, like some people are going to say, oh, foot pegs are a bit high and all that sort of stuff, but look, for getting around town and for enjoying a winding road like what I'm on today, it's actually a really good riding position. I find it really good, and if you like a naked bike, it's really easy to move around and throw around. It's quite a light bike. It's well under 200 kilos. I think it's 188 wet, fully ready to go, which is a really good. It's not a big bike. Physically, it's not a demanding machine to ride, nor is it a demanding machine to get your feet on the ground. This one in particular has been lowered. It's got the lowering kit that's available, and it means just about everybody can get their feet on the ground really well. And my apologies if I found a little bit muffled. I've actually got a face mask on because it's freezing cold today. So I'm taking it easy on this road too, partly because the speed limit's quite low along here, and also because in the shade there's a potential for it to be wet. It's been windy, so I haven't had too much of that today, but certainly you often get that on these winter roads and winter rides. The Monster's good handling is down to having good spring rates, good quality gear. Although they've built it to a price, they haven't built in much adjustability. There's no adjustability in the forks. So they're upside down forks, but they're damped really well, and I probably wouldn't adjust them even if they had adjustment on them. I think they're actually pretty well set up for anybody from about 80 kilos to 100 kilos. You'd probably find them absolutely fine. The rear shock, look, I'd probably play with the flickers on that if it had any. It's only got preload adjustment, but to be honest, it doesn't really need it. I mean, I'm a big fan of adjustable suspension. I'm a big fan of good suspension. But realistically, this bike's not being bought by people who are looking for that ragged edge of sporting ability. Those people will buy Hypermotards or Panigales, that sort of thing. This is more your everyday bike, it's more your town bike, it's more your fun bike. And keeping it to a price, I think, is more important than making it cutting edge. So that said, they've put fairly cutting edge electronics on the bike. So it's got 3 riding modes. It's got sport, touring and urban modes, which is probably exactly what you need. I mean, the urban mode, really good for people who never had a big bike before. If this is your first big bike, urban mode damps down the power from about 111 in the 2 performance modes, touring and sport, down to, I think it's about 70 horsepower for the urban mode, which would also be good in the rain. Now, I'm a fairly experienced rider, ride a lot. My bike, I've got bikes with lots of horsepower, so I found it a little bit doughy down low. But as I say, if you're new to riding a big bike, if you've never had an open class bike before, you'd probably find the urban really good. So the other electronics it's got lots of intervention electronics. It's got traction control and cornering ABS, daytime running lights, LED lighting, 4.2 inch TFT instrument panel, wheelie control, Lots and lots of electronics there. You can tune those, you can set those up within the system to suit what you like within 3 riding modes. So if you don't like it as it comes from the factory, if you want less intervention through the ABS or the traction control, you can configure a lot of those things, and you can turn a lot of it off too. So if you want to get out there on a racetrack, turn a lot of this off and just get out there and feel the full power of the 937cc Testastretta engine, well, that's something you can do. So that's a really good thing to have, and it's really good to know that that's there. So it's a good bike. You can grow with this bike as you get used to it. As your skills grow, you can get more out of this bike, or you can damp it down if your skills aren't quite there yet. So from that point of view, it's a really good thing. Now, it's a really good price at well under $20,000 for this machine. Makes this Ducati really good value for money by Ducati standards. Yes, you can buy Japanese bikes that are cheaper, that have similar performance and all that sort of stuff, but you don't get that Ducati experience. That V-twin engine underneath is pretty unique, even 20 odd years after they started making, more than that, lots more than that, since they've started making the liquid cooled 8 valves. While I think about that engine, the service intervals have come out again from the old days. So now this bike is only needs an oil change every 15,000 kilometers, and the valves need checking every 30,000 kilometers. Now that's much better than the old days, and I think with the way they've built these new engines, I believe that that's a bit easier to do as well than it used to be. But certainly for most people, that means major servicing is only every 4 years or so, and a oil change every couple of years for most people. If you're high mileage, maybe a little bit more often, but if you're high mileage, you're probably getting the value out of those services and maintenance anyway. So from that point of view, not too expensive a bike to own for an Italian sports machine. That's not just any old sports car heading up that twisty road. That's a very nice looking modern day Porsche. Now, I've taken off up this hill to have a bit of a fun. This speed limit's been raised along this part. Now, I'm not doing anything crazy, but hey, he's there, and it's 2 lanes, and it's a winding road, and I'm on a Ducati sports bike, so let's see what happens. One thing I really wanted to be careful of up here though is there are some things to be careful of, like rock walls, like traffic, but not too much of the above. You know, realistically it was a quiet road, and it was a good way to have a bit of fun and keep an eye on what was going on and gauge what this Ducati Monster was like against a sports car. I've got no idea of the talent of the driver, but I know what I'm like as a rider. So I thought I'd follow this guy and try to avoid the cars, go around those, go between the little one, and keep an eye on the Porsche in front of me. Turns out he's not that fast after all, and through the corners in particular, he didn't slow down too much, but he was over the road a little bit, comes across my way a bit there, and I thought I'd get him through this corner here, but when I got here, yeah, look at all the damp patches, so had to be careful through there. But overall, you can punt a bike like a Monster at under 20 grand up a hill like this quicker than you can drive a lot of these sports cars. You know, maybe this driver could have gone a bit quicker, who knows. But I didn't have any trouble keeping up with him, didn't do anything crazy, wasn't going particularly fast, but certainly was able to not just catch up to him, but managed to overtake him nice and safely. He did sit in the right hand lane the whole time, which he's not supposed to, but that's where he preferred to sit, and I wasn't going to fight with him over it, so I just went past him on the left hand side and never saw him again. But great way to spend an afternoon riding a Ducati Monster on a winding road.